All right, let's jump right in. We're diving deep into the Women's Premier League today, specifically a clash between the UP Warriors and the Mumbai Indians. This wasn't just any match, folks. This one had major playoff implications.
Definitely high stakes.
And you've given us a ton of great stuff to work with. We've got match summaries, player interviews, and pregame analysis. We're going to use all of that to go way beyond the score.
We're talking tactics, we're talking mindsets, the whole 9 yards.
Think of this as a deep dive into the minds of the players and all the strategic moves that went down on the field. So to set the scene, the UP Warriors, they were walking onto their home turf absolutely needing a win. They were struggling, bottom of the table.
Really needed to turn things around.
Meanwhile, the Mumbai Indians were looking to bounce back after a recent loss and cement their spot at the top. Talk about a pressure cooker.
Oh yeah, you could feel the tension in the air. This was more than just a game. Both teams had their eyes on those playoff spots, so every run, every wicket, every decision carried extra weight.
And get this, our pregame analysis pointed out a pretty interesting trend. In Lucknow, teams batting first have historically had a surprising advantage. I was really curious to see if that would play into the captain's decisions.
And it absolutely did. Am I winning the toss and choosing to field first? That was a calculated gamble. They were hoping to use the conditions to their advantage early on, maybe get some movement for their seam bowlers.
That makes sense. But then, UPW threw us a curveball. They sent out a brand new opening pair, Grace Harris and Georgia Vole. And remember, Vole had just been promoted after getting a duck in the previous match.
Bold move for sure. I think it showed that UPW, despite their struggles, they weren't backing down. They were ready to come out swinging and put pressure on the MI bowlers right from the start. I'll admit, I was surprised to see Vole get another chance so soon.
Their coach must have had a lot of faith in her.
Yeah, he definitely did. And that faith paid off at least for a while. Vole was on fire, smashing her first ever 50 in the WPL and building a really strong partnership with Harris. For a while there, it felt like they had the MI bowlers on the ropes.
They were putting on a show.
They really were. But here's where we see the mark of a true champion team. Mumbai, they didn't panic, they stuck to their plan, and Hayley Matthews, their star all-rounder, she stepped up big time, broke that dangerous opening stand, shifted the momentum back in MI's favor. And, in T20 cricket, those small moments, they can completely change the course of a match.
Couldn't agree more. And that's when MI really seized control. Spinner Amelia Kerr, she was absolutely phenomenal, ended up taking 5 wickets, really put a stop to UPW's run chase.
It's not just about the wickets, right? It's how she did it. The control, the variations in pace and line. She kept those UPW batters guessing, forced them to make mistakes. That's the sign of a truly great bowler.
Outsmarting the batter at every turn. So we got UPW trying to recover from some big wickets, but the match wasn't over just yet. Deepti Sharma and Sophie Ecclestone, 2 very experienced players, they tried to launch a counterattack to save the innings.
And that's what's so great about T20 cricket. It's so unpredictable. Just when you think one team has the upper hand, the game can swing back in an instant. Those late runs from Sharma and Ecclestone, they really made things interesting. MI knew they couldn't afford to relax.
Absolutely. So in the end, UPW finishes their innings at 150. Now it's Mumbai's turn to bat. What's their approach going to be? Go all out for a quick win? Play it safe? What do you think?
Well, what's interesting here is that they opted for a more measured, strategic approach. They weren't chasing a huge total, so they prioritized a steady, controlled chase rather than risking wickets trying to boost their net run rate. It showed a lot of maturity and confidence, knowing they didn't need to take unnecessary risks.
Very smart cricket. And speaking of confidence, I was really struck by something Hayley Matthews said in her post-match interview. She called this her most fluent innings of the season. It almost seemed like her success with the ball gave her this extra boost with the bat.
Oh, absolutely. Matthews' comment highlights that mental side of cricket, especially in a format as fast-paced and pressure-filled as T20. Confidence can be a game changer, and in this case, it really seemed to elevate her performance.
And speaking of praise, MI captain Harmanpreet Kaur, she was full of it for Amelia Kerr, calling her a wicket-taking machine. Really emphasized Kerr's contribution to the victory.
And it wasn't just empty praise either. Kaur's words underscored just how important those bowlers are, the ones who can not only take wickets but also control the flow of runs, especially in those crucial middle overs of a T20 match. Kerr's performance was a masterclass in tactical bowling.
Absolutely. So we've got MI off to a good start, but before we get into their chase, I want to pause here for a second and ask you, what stands out to you so far? What's really caught your attention about this match?
Well, for me, it's how both teams adapted. Like UPW's bold opening strategy, MI's response, it's a real tactical battle.
Yeah, like a chess match almost. Every move is carefully considered, every decision could be game-changing.
Exactly. And don't forget the mental side of it. You could see the pressure was getting to them, moments of frustration, determination, elation. It was all there.
Speaking of pressure, MI had 151 runs to chase down. Not an impossible target, but certainly not a walk in the park either. How did their innings unfold?
Well, their power play, that's the first 6 overs, was solid. Reached 50 runs for the loss of only 1 wicket. It was a measured start, laying a strong foundation without taking too many risks.
And Haley Matthews, riding that wave of confidence after her bowling performance, she carried that momentum into her batting, didn't she?
Absolutely. Matthews was in top form, a perfect blend of aggression and control. She top scored for MI, smashed 68 runs off just 46 balls. A real captain's knock, leading by example, putting immense pressure on the UPW bowlers.
68 runs. Wow, that must have been demoralizing for UPW. Did anyone else contribute significantly for MI?
Nat Sever-Brunt, MI's reliable all-rounder, she played a crucial supporting role. Chipped in with a valuable 37 runs. The partnership between Matthews and Sever-Brunt, that was really the backbone of MI's chase.
So it sounds like MI were cruising towards victory.
Well, not so fast. Remember, T20 cricket, it's full of twists and turns, and UPW, to their credit, they didn't just give up. Grace Harris, who had shined earlier with the bat, she showed her all-round skills by picking up 2 crucial wickets, including Sever-Brunt's. For a moment there, you could feel a little bit of hope for UPW.
So UPW managed to inject some drama into the match.
They did. Those wickets, they gave UPW a glimmer of hope. But in the end, it wasn't enough to stop MI. Mumbai reached the target with 9 balls to spare.
A comfortable victory for MI in the end. They just seem to have this knack for finding ways to win, even when they face challenges.
It's their composure under pressure. Never panicked, even when UPW threatened to come back. That's what champions do. Stay calm, execute their plans, even when the game's on the line.
You know, I love these deep dives because we get these raw insights from the players. The post-match interviews, they're just a gold mine of information.
Oh, absolutely. Hearing it straight from the players, it adds so much to our analysis. It's not just about the numbers, it's about the emotions, the strategies, those split-second decisions that shape the game.
So what struck you about the players' reactions after the match?
Well, on the UPW side, Georgia Vole, even though they lost, she seemed to focus on the positives, acknowledged the team's disappointment, but highlighted her own personal milestone and the team's fighting spirit. Very mature for a young player.
Says a lot about their character. Clearly hurting from the recent struggles but not giving up. There's resilience there, a determination to keep fighting.
Exactly. And on the MI side, Amelia Kerr, who's named player of the match, she was, as always, incredibly humble. Downplayed her 5-wicket haul, talked about luck, acknowledged she didn't always bowl her best. Very refreshing to see.
Her humility is admirable, but her performance speaks for itself. What I found interesting was her comment about the challenges of bowling the last over, especially with those field restrictions because of MI's slow over rate.
Yeah, good point. It showed that even those seemingly simple situations in T20 cricket, they can be so complex. The pressure of bowling that final over, knowing the game's on the line, it's immense.
And speaking of pressure, things got a little heated on the field, didn't they? That moment between Harmanpreet Kaur and Sophie Ecclestone.
Ah, the stare down. It's part of what makes sport so compelling, right? You need players to stay composed, but emotions run high, especially in a match like this. The stakes are high, pressure's intense. Sometimes those emotions boil over.
What I found fascinating was how quickly it escalated and then de-escalated. A reminder that even in the heat of battle, there's that underlying respect between the athletes.
Yeah, it's competitive for sure, but it's still a game. Sportsmanship should always come first. And I think we saw that, how both players handled themselves after that initial tension.
Now, let's dig into some of the strategic decisions. We've talked about the toss, the opening partnerships, but were there any other tactical nuances that stood out to you?
Well, one decision that I didn't quite understand was UPW bringing in Gauhar Sultana, but then not using her at all. Seemed like a missed opportunity to use her left arm spin in those conditions. On the other hand, MI's decision to replace Jintamani Kalita with Parunika Sisodia, that was a smart move.
Yeah, Sisodia's left arm spin, it added something different to their attack. And her figures, just 22 runs and 4 overs, she played her role really well.
Absolutely. And the way MI used Amelia Kerr, brilliant. Bringing her on at just the right time to disrupt UPW's momentum, it was a stroke of genius. Her 5 wickets, they completely turned the game around.
Like a chess match, right. Every move is calculated, trying to anticipate the opponent's response, gain that advantage.
Exactly. The best captains are the ones who can read the game, adapt to the changing conditions, and make those crucial decisions that can swing a match in their favor.
And MI's captain, Harmanpreet Kaur, she's proving to be a real master tactician.
No doubt about it. Her leadership has been key to MI's success this season. Leads by example with her own performances and her ability to read the game and make those key tactical decisions, it's second to none.
So, MI walk away with a crucial victory, strengthening their position at the top. But what about UPW? What does this loss mean for their playoff hopes?
Well, it's definitely going to be an uphill battle now. They need to win their remaining matches and hope for other results to go their way. It's a tall order, but we've seen teams pull off some amazing comebacks in T20 cricket.
It's not over till it's over. And despite the loss, their performance against MI showed glimpses of what they're capable of. They've got a young, talented squad. If they can find some consistency, build on their strengths, they could still be a force to be reckoned with.
I agree. They have match winners in their team. Grace Harris, Sophie Ecclestone, Deepti Sharma. If they can click as a unit, they can beat anyone.
Absolutely. Now, let's step back for a moment. What are the key takeaways from this match? What does it tell us about the evolving landscape of the WPL?
I think it's a clear sign that the WPL is becoming more and more competitive. The gap between the top teams and the rest is shrinking, which is great for the league. More unpredictable matches, more excitement, a higher standard of play overall.
I completely agree. And the emergence of young players like Georgia Vole, it speaks volumes about the depth of talent in women's cricket. The future of the WPL is incredibly bright.
Couldn't agree more. It's not just about the established stars, it's a platform for young players to show what they can do, make a name for themselves on the global stage. That's what makes this league so special.
Now, as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious, what's resonating with you? What aspects of this match or the players have really piqued your interest?
Hayley Matthews. Her development as a cricketer has been incredible to watch. She's becoming a true all-rounder, someone who can make a difference with both bat and ball.
Yeah, it's been an amazing journey from a young talent to a match winner. Her performance against UPW, it was a real statement. She's not just one to watch for the future, she's dominating right now.
Absolutely. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I think it's worth taking a step back. What does this match and the WPL season so far tell us about the state of women's cricket?
I think it's clear that the WPL is changing the game. It's giving these incredibly talented women a platform to show their skills to the world, bringing in new fans, inspiring the next generation of athletes.
Definitely. The quality of cricket we've seen this season has been phenomenal. The athleticism, the skill, the tactical awareness, it's all top-notch. And the crowds, they've been amazing. People are really getting behind these players.
And it's only going to get bigger and better. More investment, better facilities, more opportunities to play at the highest level. Women's cricket is poised for some serious growth.
I couldn't agree more. The WPL is showing everyone that the women's game is just as exciting, just as competitive, just as entertaining as the men's game. And it's not just about the cricket, right? It's about breaking barriers, challenging stereotypes, creating a more inclusive sporting landscape. The impact of the WPL, it goes way beyond the cricket field.
It's a powerful message, and the WPL is sending it loud and clear. So, as we finish our deep dive into this clash between UP Warriors and Mumbai Indians, we want to leave you with something to think about. The Mumbai Indians, with their strategic play and ability to handle pressure, they look like real contenders for the title. But UP Warriors, even with their struggles, they've got the talent and the fight to pull off an upset. So, what's your prediction? Who do you think will make the playoffs?
Nah.
And who's going to lift that trophy in the end? We'd love to hear your thoughts.